is multiplying by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4/3. Put my 9 over 1. This will cancel and this will cancel. On this side I can cross cancel as well. My greatest common factor is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And 3 times 4 is 12 over 1. So x equals 12. So she could make 12 skirts from 9 yards of fabric. Part B, explain how you determined which operation was needed to write this equation. So if each skirt needs 3/4 of a yard of fabric, then you would multiply 3/4 by the number of skirts to find out how much fabric is needed. Since Betty has 9 yards of fabric, 3/4 times x is equal to 9. Okay, question 13. Karen is working on her math homework. She solves the equation b over 8 equals 56 and says that the solution is b equals 7. Do you agree or disagree? Well, if b is 7, this would be 7/8, and 7/8 does not equal 56, so no, I do not agree. I'm going to put I disagree. And then to solve this correctly, I know that I would need to, b is my variable, and it's being divided by 8. I have to do the inverse of dividing by 8, which would be multiplying by 8. So I'd have to multiply both sides by 8, and then b would be by itself. And then on this side, it would be 56 times 8. 6 times 8 is 48. Carry the 4. 8 times 5 is 40 plus 4 is 44. So b would be 448. So it says use words to support if her answer is correct. So no, she's not correct. It would be 448, not 7 for the solution. Question 14. There are 70 historical fiction books in the school library. Historical fiction books make up 1/10 of the library's collection. The equation 1/10 b equals 70 can be used to find out how many books are in the library, or how many books the library has. Solve the equation to find the total number of books in the library's collection. Use numbers and words to explain how to solve 1/10 b equals 70. So I know, again, this is my variable's b. It's being multiplied by 1/10. The inverse of multiplying is dividing or division. So I would have to divide both sides by 1/10. Well, that's the same as multiplying by 10 over 1 or multiplying by 10. This cancels and b is alone. So there are 700 books in the library. Okay. Number 15. Andy drove 33 miles on Monday morning. This was 3/7 of the total number of miles that he drove on Monday. Solve the equation 3/7 m equals 33 to find the total number of miles that Andy drove on Monday. So again, this is multiplying by a fraction, so I could divide both sides by 3/7, which is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. This cancels and m is alone. On this side, I'm going to make 33 into a fraction by putting it over 1, because 33 divided by 1 is still 33. My greatest common factor is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 33 divided by 3 is 11. And then 11 times 7 is 77. So he would have driven 77 miles on Monday. Okay, 16. The maximum number of players allowed on a lacrosse team is 23. The inequality t is less than or equal to 23 represents the total number of players t that are allowed on the team. Two possible solutions for the inequality are 23, because 23 is equal to 23, and 22 would be a solution because 22 is less than 23. Number 17. Mr. Charles needs to have at least 10 students sign up for homework help in order to use the computer lab. The inequality h is greater than or equal to 10 represents the number of students h who must sign up. Select possible solutions of the inequality, mark all that apply. So this one will not work because 7 is not greater than 10. It's not greater than or equal to 10. B is 8. 8 will not work because 8 is not greater or equal to 10. C will not work for the same reason. 9 is not greater or equal to 10. D will work. because it is equal to 10. 11 will work because it is greater, and 12 will work because it is greater than 10. Question 18. The maximum capacity of the school auditorium is 420 people. Write an inequality for the situation and tell what type of numbers the variable in the inequality can represent. So it says the maximum capacity. So it could be equal to 420. So it has to be 420 or less. So an equation that would work would be the number of people could be less than or equal to 420, where C or P, whatever variable you use, where P is a whole number. Has to be a whole number because people aren't going to be a part of a number. Okay, number 19. Match the inequality to the word sentence that it represents. The temperature did not drop below 70. So the one that would go with that would be that it could be equal to 70, but it would not be below 70. So the one that it would go with is this bottom one. The temperature would be greater than or equal to 70. Next one, Dane saved more than $70. That would be this one, more than 70. The next one says fewer than 70 people attended the game. That one would go with this top one, fewer than 70. The last one, no more than 70 people can participate. That means it needs to be less than or equal to 70. Okay, number 20. Sydney graphed the inequality D is less than or equal to 14. Part A, Dylan said that 14 is not a solution of the inequality. Do you agree or disagree with Dylan? Use numbers and words to support your answer. So I would disagree with him because the dot is solidly filled in, which means that 14 is a part of my solution, so he would not be correct. Part B says, suppose Sydney's graph had an empty circle at 14. Write the inequality that would be represented by this graph. That would be D would be less than 14 because it would not include 14 in the solution. Okay, if you have any questions, ask on the Google Classroom.